This is Copenhagen, one of Europe's most livable cities. We've only got one day here, so let's see what we can find in a few short hours in the beautiful Danish capital. On the square of Kongens Nytorv lies a couple of really nice buildings, including this old stage Royal Playhouse. It is truly beautiful in old classical style, featuring two statues of important people from the area. Just look at how intricate the design on this building is. It is truly stunning here at the Royal Danish Theatre. This is the tower atop St. Nicholas's Cathedral. The tower actually was a later addition to this cathedral, and it was consecrated after St. Nicholas, the patron saint of seafarers. Copenhagen is of course a port city with a long connection to the sea. The tower did fall and was re-erected, and was also serving as a watchtower for the local fire brigade, given that it's the third highest tower in the city. If a fire broke out, they could see fairly easily where it was and go and deal with that. Latterly, the cathedral has become a kunsthal, or an art gallery, which is quite indicative of what Denmark is like. It is a very picturesque, very beautiful city with a long and storied history associated with art. Lego is of course one of Denmark's primary exports. Let's go and check out what they've got here in this Lego store. Who am I in Lego? Here we go. Tense moment.
Not bad.
Yeah, okay, I'm a Dalmatian.
Exactly like you.
It's uncanny. Since its inception in Billund in 1934, Lego, its literal translation, play well, has become a global brand, partnering with many massive franchises throughout the world, such as Star Wars, Harry Potter, more recently Wicked as well, the latest films. It was only right, of course, that we bought a little minifigure keychain as well to have some real Danish Lego. This is fastelavn, and a fairly traditional Danish pastry, as we must try, of course, while we're here. Let's see what it's like. Deliciously sweet. Fantastic stuff. I'm standing outside the neoclassical Copenhagen courthouse, which in 1795 was destroyed by the Great Fire of Copenhagen. We learn, of course, of the Great Fire of London, but I wonder if you've ever heard of the Great Fire of Copenhagen. This is the truly massive Copenhagen City Hall with Jens Olsen's world clock on the top of it, which is an astronomical clock. You will see that there are three flags flying. There is the Danish national flag on the top, the Greenland national flag, and also the flag of Ukraine outside the door. In a number of European capitals, you'll find these Ripley museums, which are just like believe it or not. So let's see what interesting things we can find here. It's about 23 euros entry, which equates to about 20 quid. These are some interesting bits of artwork. This was made by someone being sick. This one I actually quite like, because it was being painted by someone as he was swimming along. So he's only using his legs to do the swimming, and he's painting the shoreline as it approaches towards him. I just think that's actually what a skill that is. Fluorescence and phosphorescence are two interesting properties of materials, and I could talk you through the chemistry associated with it if you really wanted me to, but I'm not going to do that on this video. I have basically used it as an opportunity for a little bit of self-promotion. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. This is Jennifer Lopez, and this is Britney Spears with a twist. These are actually painted in cow poo, you could say that these bits of art certainly are not stinkers. This way. I don't know how well this will translate onto camera, but this is one of those things where it looks like it's moving, but it's not. If I look at it through my camera lens, it's fine, but the wall around me, it is moving. And it's making this through my eyes look like it's moving. I'm not going to fall over, but you can see that that's just stationary, but this is actually moving. It's quite disconcerting. Of course, particularly with the popularisation of the story Dracula, the vampire killing kit became a little bit bigger. This was circa 1850, containing all sorts of serums and wooden crosses that the undead might dislike. So this is a mannequin of Robert Waglow, who is the tallest guy who ever lived at 8 feet 11. He is 3 feet taller than me. There you have it. I don't know how well you can actually see on the angle how much taller than me he is, but you know, I can't see the top of his head. There's this little room here which is sort of an exhibition to all things Denmark, such as the original hamburger, and we've got this replica of Nyhavn with some bikes above it. But my favourite Danish fact is that if a Swede crosses the Øresund Strait, which is the strait that connects Sweden and Denmark, if that strait is frozen over, then the Dane is allowed to hit the Swede with a stick. What a fact. Ethan, I'm an accomplished musician, and I bet you can get a better tune out of these stairs than me. Right, here we go. Oh, come on, finish the scale. No, not happy with you, stairs. So we've got to grab the ring out of the guy's mouth. Let's have a look. It's one of those optical illusion things, so. Okay, I've just put my hand in a hand dryer. Lovely. You can just see the quantity of bikes dotted around the city, as there are designated cycle lanes to get around, which are used so sensibly, so safely. It's a really, really well geared up city for cycling around this Copenhagen. This is Christiansborg Slot, which is the palace here in Denmark. And this is your equivalent of Buckingham Palace. It is where His Majesty King Frederick was proclaimed as king from one of the balconies of this palace to the Danish people back in 2024. This is the National Museum of Denmark, and for 150 Danish crowns you can learn all about Peoples of the Earth, story of Denmark, toys, ethnographical treasures, and classical Egyptian and Near Eastern antiquities. Yes, I am reading that off a sign. Let's go and see what we can find out for our 150 crowns. Enjoy. So we've got some Stone Age related tools here. And the Stone Age, they reckon, was till about 1700 BC. I'm not a historian, so I don't know whether I can agree or disagree with that. But what I do know is if you considered the entirety of human history to be 1 year, and the start of the Stone Age was the 1st of January, then the Stone Age would take up until about 1/4 to midnight on the 31st of December. That's how much of human history we spent in the Stone Age. We then obviously moved on to the Iron Age, and then to the Bronze Age, which were both about happening at the same time when we discovered how to alloy metals. I always like talking about these tools as evidence for human evolution, in the sense that we started off with really jagged tools that would have been used for hunting, and as the human race was evolving over many, many years, those tools became more refined and sharper and more suitable for hunting. Of course, as humankind advanced, they started to make tools out of metal. It's quite similar in a way to a game of Minecraft. You know, you get your stone pickaxe and your stone axe in the first 2 minutes, and then as you become a little bit more advanced as a player, you move on to your iron. It is, of course, unlikely to find iron on its own in the earth, and therefore it needs to be smelted. The Iron Age was not able to take off quite as quickly, and a result of us having to smelt the iron to be able to use it. That is done obviously using blast furnaces. So once again, Minecraft didn't get that one wrong. I know we didn't see very much of the museum as a result of time, but one thing that I will say about this museum is the cloakroom's completely open. And I was quite happy to leave my jacket there. I mean, obviously I have my wallet and my passport in my pocket, but to leave your coat here in Denmark, you don't worry about it. It just feels safe, and you know it feels perfectly safe. You know it will be fine. So, you know, we all did, and all our coats were there and everything as it should be. One of the main attractions of Copenhagen, it's quite interesting to see one of these slap bang in the middle of a city, is of course Tivoli Gardens. Now, Tivoli Gardens is an amusement park as well as a garden. It was opened many years before the likes of Alton Towers. And word has it that when a certain Walt Disney visited here, he decided, yep, that gives me the inspiration I need, and he shortly after opened Disneyland. So I'm here with Cassandra. Hello. What do you think of Copenhagen?
I think it's a place where you can do a lot of things.
Yeah?
Like, there's no limit.
Yeah?
So
Interesting.
it's like very many different people, close friends.
Yes?
Like what they want.
Lots of different people being who they are, right? Yeah?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like there's a place for everyone.
Yeah?
But I also think like people believe just
Do you think so?
yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
So I also think it's very hard to like find friends in Denmark.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you're not like from here, or if you're not like doing some talks or whatnot,
Yeah?
I think it can be like really hard.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Because I found people so welcoming here. I think that's really quite interesting.
But we're mostly like, don't come here.
Wow, that's really interesting. Cassandra, thank you so much for that. That's much appreciated. For the first time in season 2, including the episode that will follow this one, the air temperature is above 0 as I step onto the iconic Nyhavn during daytime. This sort of Harvard Street is famous for these beautiful coloured houses. And of course, author Hans Christian Andersen lived here for many years to do his writing. And this, what is a canal, still appears to be frozen. The beautiful dome atop this evangelical Lutheran church in Copenhagen bears a striking resemblance to St. Stephen's Basilica in Budapest. And that inscription above the door, "The word of the Lord is everlasting," is a remark to the great Christian past of this country. Now, this building's foundation stone was laid in 1749, but the completion of the church due to financial constraints took a lot longer than that, so it wasn't actually completed until about 1790. So just to place that, that is after the United States of America was formed, but it is before Victorian Britain. Let's go and check it out. I don't know how well it translated over film, but honestly, the size of that place, you can see right up to the top of the dome. I'm not entirely sure how tall it is, but it is truly massive. It feels big, it feels peaceful in that beautiful church. Go and visit. Behind me is the equestrian statue in the middle of Amalienborg, which is the king's winter residence here. And everyone has sort of been clustered into one place surrounding this statue. There are some royal guards. I wonder what's happening. Just see all of these people here around this beautiful palace. Perhaps it'll be a royal visit, but I don't know. Hopefully we find out soon, because we have got a plane to catch actually. So that brings this little Danish adventure to a close. And I tell you what, this is a beautiful country. I have felt so safe here, so welcomed here. And obviously I always try and look for a positive at any country that I go and visit. And these ones here, they are too many to list. What I will close this video with is by saying, I love every country I visit, but there are not many where I would actually be comfortable and happy living. But Denmark is absolutely a country I could live in. So as always, if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and naturally, see you soon.